Time to Turn was clearly the high point of the Prime Wars trilogy. Of course, I'm not talking about the show, I'm talking about the toy line, because the show is entirely terrible. But one point that the toy line fumbled at that point was during its Legends class run. See, we got some great Titan Masters at the small scale, but the Legends class at the larger, small scale was somewhat lackluster. First off, we had the cassette cons and the cassette pots, which were okay, if we're talking about Rewind. The rest were actually quite garbage. And then later on they just started to give up and not really care about what they were doing, with a bunch of repaints and a bunch of rehashes. And of course we did get some fantastic toys, like I discussed in the last video, but they could have done a lot better. That said, at the very start of the line, they released a fantastic toy that everyone seems to have forgotten about. Why did they forget about it? Why? The character, of course. Because who on earth would care about Wheelie? Let's find out. Also, quick side note, and this bears no relation to the rest of the video, I actually re-recorded these lines because I realized I wasn't wearing my Christmas hat in the footage. Yes, I'm leaving the Insecticons videos as is because I filmed a whole sketch with them and I don't want to refilm that. But I feel for these shorter ones, it's best to form some continuity because it's Christmas! You gotta wear the festive attire. Right off the bat, we are off to a good start because this alt mode is really good, aside from some solidity issues. It is a mirror image of what he looks like in the Transformers movie and the third and fourth series of the cartoon. The paint is done exceptionally well, the sculpting is done exceptionally well, although it is a little bit flat, but that does create cartoon accuracy. But it's not so cartoon accurate that it looks flat and boring like some recent MPs. Am I right, guys? Am I right? You've got lovely silver over here. You've got nice pinned wheels, some nice silver at the front. It's not the cleanest of alt modes. These panel lines are a little bit annoying. And you look at the back here and the head's just pretty much sitting up there. And then you look at the bottom, and it's not that the underside is messy, it's that it's completely hollow. You can pretty much see right through it. But there is a point to that, and I'll get to that later. In spite of all these flaws, here's a remarkable vehicle mode. One thing that I really enjoy is that they use the clear black plastic here, but also on the wheels. I believe I mentioned that in a previous review, and I said I'd like to see it on other figures, and of course, well, here it is, on another figure. I just wasn't able to see it at the time. It is very good. And out of all the Legends figures, I feel he incorporates his gimmick the best. If you remember, yesterday I had a video about the Insecticons, and I said that there was the Titan Master gimmick, or the Headmaster gimmick, where the canopy would open and he could and you could place a little Headmaster in there. Well, Wheelie does the same, but it's so seamlessly integrated, it's just there and no problem. I think you actually have to open up this as well. Now, for the sake of simplicity, I will be using a Prime Master, which is basically a Headmaster, but slightly worse. He just fits in there. No problems. You can't even tell he's in there. And it doesn't impact the figure that much, aside from some solidity issues, which I've already explained. Actually, no, wait, I haven't explained it. The solidity issues are that it just falls apart pretty easily. I really should hate it more for that, but it looks so good and it's painted so well, and the transformation that we get is so genius that I don't end up minding that much. And as for ye old size comparison, he's actually pretty big for a Legends figure. At this point they'd well and truly established that this was to scale with Chug toys at the larger scale, so any sense of being smaller versions was thrown out the window. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but hey, we got some good toys. The transformation for his size is actually quite involved. It's very fun. First off, you have to make sure the cockpit's completely empty. You can close that up again, although we will open it up later anyway. First thing you want to do is bring out the legs. You can then bring them along like so, and that'll work a bit later. You come around here, these bits fold in on themselves to fill in the gap, and then they fold like so. You come around to the back, you make sure this entire section is open, it accordions in on itself, bottom half folds in, top half folds and clicks in place, then the arms fold like so. I have seen that type of transformation on another figure which I will review later, but this does it much better. You rotate the waist, and you bring the head up by pushing on that part there, and folding in on it. And we have Wheelie. Man, oh man. For a Wheelie figure, he is surprisingly fun. The amount of effort they put into Wheelie is just astonishing. Also, I should mention, as you transform it, these kneecaps will automatically come out. You can put them all the way out here, but it looks a bit bad. But they'll just kind of naturally go like that with the knee bend. One amazing thing is the way that the wheel pieces work, where they fold in and they fill out the backs of the legs. He is completely clean aside from this hollow section at the back. He is really a really good figure with fantastic articulation, fantastic paint, fantastic sculpt work. It's just, why do they put all this effort into Wheelie? I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not someone who hates Wheelie, but, you know, they could have put this effort into someone else, right? Ah, well, that doesn't really matter. The articulation is pretty great as well. You've got a head swivel, and you also get a bit of upward movement, but it doesn't really look natural. The shoulders are on ball joints, however, be careful, because they do fall off pretty easily. The elbows are on ball joints as well, so you get the bicep swivel. You've got a lovely waist swivel that's incorporated into the transformation. Utterly brilliant. Ball-jointed hips, and ball-jointed knees. And if you want to get some extra movement, you can move these out of the way, and it gets a little bit of extra there. Also, these kneecaps move with the rest of the knee so that it looks natural. That is one cool transformer, and one cool articulation system. Honestly, if you don't have Wheelie already, what are you doing with your life? And a quick size comparison with Crumbs. Honestly, I'm really glad I did this marathon, because I never would have gotten a chance to discuss figures like this, which I back collected, which I sadly missed out on. There are some hidden gems in these lines that people just don't talk about. But, well, I get to show them off, which is fantastic. Yes, Wheelie is a fantastic toy. There, I said it. Can you stop laughing now? I'm being completely serious. The transformation is genius, the alt mode is on point, the robot mode has fantastic articulation, it's got great integration with the headmasters. But no, you have to get the X-Transbots version, Do you really though? This guy's pretty alright, actually. I suppose the people who collect those kinds of lines and the people who collect these kinds of lines don't quite match up. But well, that's the world that we live in. We live in a world where no one cares about Wheelie, and when they do, they want to pay way more on one. Not that it matters, it meant that I got an incredibly cheap copy, and I'm very happy with him. But enough about not anticipated toys, let's talk about very anticipated toys tomorrow when we move on to Power of the Primes, with a very anticipated toy. But does he hold up to scrutiny?